And recently, you actually partnered with Tractian. So, doing this PDM project, what are your biggest hopes, your goals, and expectations, and how that's going to impact, uptime, runtime, reliability in general of the machines, et cetera?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, we were able to identify which assets were impacting our production process the most in terms of uptime. With that, knowing that information, we partnered with Traction because we were excited to see what they could bring in terms of improving our asset availability. Because we've identified certain assets that we know that if they fail, they're going to create a catastrophic impact to the plant. And the OEE allowed the site to really realize that predictive maintenance was necessary for the plant, and we needed to implement programs like vibration monitoring. So that was actually one of the main tasks that I was assigned to do when I joined the reliability, was to try to bring in a vibration monitoring program. So when we were conducting all the evaluations with vendors, what really stood out to me about Traction was the analytics that they brought. Like, I really was very impressed by the reliability metrics that they're able to calculate in real time, the level of detail when it comes to the failure modes and the insight generation. The other thing that also really stood out to me was that also kind of fit in with our needs as at the plant, was your ability to support cellular service when it comes to data transmission. Because for our plant, we have a lot of security related obstacles, for lack of a better
Right.
word.
Hmm.
So we needed a system that would integrate well with IT. So it's, Traction obviously supported that very well. And then, one thing that I feel like doesn't get talked about as much especially up front, is the user friendliness of the systems. And that was one thing I was really blown away by, was the ease of use of Traction's system compared to all the other solutions I saw. It is so easy to use your system. Like, one of the highlights I wanted to bring up is the bearing library that you have in Traction, where you can actually
Right.
assign the specific bearings to the assets, and then the
Mhm.
platform will automatically use that bearing data to then generate the insights associated with those exact bearings. So,
Right.
there were just a lot of cool features that we saw with Traction that we're really hoping to take advantage of, going forward to keep our uptime up. And it's already looking like we're already catching some insights. So one of the assets that's key to our plant, if it fails, it literally will cause about 2/3 of the production to shut down. That asset, it was flagged for a bearing issue by the Traction system. So we have a predictive maintenance request now to change out that asset during our upcoming shutdown. But without Traction being able to tell us that, we might have just gone through the shutdown with that same asset and the same bearing in place. So yeah, a lot of good potential I see with this partnership.
Awesome.